I paid for the venue before my sister even picked a dress. That detail matters more to me now than it did then. At the time, it felt normal. Mia called me crying 3 months after getting engaged because the waterfront venue she wanted required a deposit her fiancé couldn't cover quickly enough. Their credit situation complicated financing, vendors wanted guarantees up front, and our parents were already stretched thin pretending they could contribute more than they actually could. So I stepped in, not dramatically, just practically. I signed paperwork, covered deposits, took vendor calls during lunch breaks, quietly transferred money whenever another unexpected wedding expense appeared. I told myself this was what older siblings did when they loved someone. And I did love her. That's the difficult part. People always want betrayal stories to erase affection cleanly. Real life doesn't work that way. For months, I helped build a wedding I slowly stopped being included in. It happened, subtly at first. Dress appointments I would probably hate. Family brunches where planning conversations paused when I arrived late. Group photos uploaded online where everyone looked connected in ways I somehow no longer did. I noticed all of it, then minimized it immediately afterward. Stress does strange things to people, I told myself. Weddings especially. The invitation never came. At first I assumed it got lost. Then weeks passed. One night I finally called Mia directly while sitting in my car outside work. She answered too quickly, like she'd been expecting the conversation for days. There was a long silence before she finally said, "You make people tense sometimes." I remember gripping the steering wheel harder because I genuinely didn't understand what she meant. "What people?" "The atmosphere changes around you," she said softly. "I just want the day peaceful." Peaceful. Interesting word. As though my existence introduced conflict by default, I asked whether I was invited or not. Another silence. Then, "I think it's better if you don't come." Traffic moved around me while she explained it gently, carefully, almost compassionately, which somehow made it worse. Not anger, management. Like she was handling an emotional inconvenience professionally. When the call ended, I sat in the parking lot until the sun disappeared completely. I didn't cry. I just felt suddenly absent from my own life. At home later that night, I opened the wedding contract folder mostly because I couldn't sleep. Venue agreements, insurance documents, liability clauses. My signature appeared everywhere. Not Mia's, mine. Because months earlier the venue required stronger financial backing before approving the reservation. At first, I only intended to review things. Then I noticed the cancellation provisions, final confirmation deadlines, financial withdrawal rights, transfer liability conditions. I closed the laptop immediately afterward. The next morning I reopened it, then closed it again. For nearly a week I kept moving through that cycle, because despite everything, part of me still wanted to protect the wedding, even if I had become unwelcome inside it. That realization embarrassed me more than the rejection itself. Eventually something quieter than anger settled into place. A kind of exhausted clarity. Continuing to fund an event designed around my absence would mean agreeing with the absence. So I contacted the venue manager directly, calmly, professionally. I explained I needed to withdraw financial responsibility under the agreement and requested formal cancellation before the final liability window closed. The manager asked twice if I was certain. I said yes both times. After that, things moved quickly. The wedding planner called Mia. The venue released the date. Replacement guarantees became impossible on short notice without accelerated payments the couple couldn't provide immediately. And suddenly the family understood something they had somehow avoided enticing for months. I hadn't been helping with the wedding. I had been holding it together structurally. My phone exploded by evening. Parents first, then cousins, then Mia repeatedly. At one point she left a voicemail crying that I was ruining her life over hurt feelings. That phrase stayed with me, as if humiliation only counted emotionally once it interrupted logistics. The next morning screenshots started circulating from extended family chats, Mia describing me as unstable, vindictive, manipulative. That part hurt more than the wedding, because exclusion is painful, but public rewriting afterward feels erasing. I answered only once, one message. I removed myself from something I was never welcome to attend, nothing else. And slowly, awkwardly, pieces of the truth surfaced. Relatives learned whose credit secured the venue, who paid deposits, whose name carried liability. The tone changed after that. Not supportive exactly, just quieter. The wedding still happened eventually. Smaller venue, different date, fewer guests. I wasn't there. Months later, Mia texted me after midnight. No greeting. Just, I didn't think you'd actually let go. I stared at the message for a long time, because that was the real misunderstanding underneath everything. She thought love guaranteed permanence, that no matter how invisible I became, I would continue carrying the structure underneath her life anyway. Later that night, while cleaning old paperwork from my apartment, I found the original wedding invitation mock-up tucked inside a planning folder. Gold lettering, elegant design. My name appeared nowhere on the guest list draft, only once, under billing contact information. I looked at it quietly for a while before closing the folder and putting it away for good.